Sports Podcast. I said, welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Port Hueneme, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Good morning.
Morning.
What's good, man?
Oh, weekend's over. Monday's here. Doing the damn thing.
This isn't third Saturday for you or whatever you want to call it.
No, it could be, there's been discussions internally about making Mondays second Sundays, but not yet. Monday, universally still people going back to work on Monday. One day I hope to, push really hard for the 3-day work week, and then we'll have, first Saturday, and then we'll have second Sunday, and then we'll just really have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday where we go hard. But
you need to move to Spain, man.
I would love to. I don't speak any Spanish.
That's all right. You'll pick it up.
Yeah. Can I get some plugs out of the way, Andy?
Yeah, go for it.
I'll be in New York this weekend. Sort of a last minute trip. I will be at the Stand basically every night I'm there. So I think I'll be at the Stand Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. You can go to joeprano.com for what shows I'm on. I'll be there because I am going to be at Fanatics Fest, which I didn't know anything about until I got hired to do some work there. So I'll be working Fanatics Fest. I don't want to say what I'm doing just yet, but I'll be at Fanatics Fest. So if you're at Fanatics Fest, keep your eye out for me. I'll be bopping around doing some things. And talked to Justin Wood a couple times about Fanatics Fest. Apparently it's a big deal. And then I went on the thing. I went on their website. A lot of folks are going to be there. A lot of huge athletes. So, maybe some dirty sports content to be had there as well. I'll definitely be taking lots of pics and videos and stuff like that. But I'll be working Fanatics Fest all weekend in New York. So if you are at Fanatics Fest, try to say what's up. And if you're just in New York City in general for Fanatics Fest or otherwise, come see me at the Stand all weekend, Thursday through Sunday.
Well, I mean, it's a very large company. They do all the jerseys, right?
Yeah, I guess they do like all the things and whatever, but it's it's at the Jacob Javits Center, which is the huge convention center there in New York. And I guess a lot of different sports related folks have booths and whatever. I'll be milling around the Topps card booth a lot. So if you're a card collector and you want to check out the Topps booth, you might catch me. But I'll be out around the floor a lot doing some different stuff. So
ooh, I'm looking. There's a panel with
LeBron James.
Well, I saw one with Peyton and Eli.
Yeah, that'd be huge too.
That's Friday morning.
LeBron's there. Eli will be there. Jackson Dart will be there. All the GOATs, really.
This is an interesting panel. Peyton and Eli Manning, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, and C.J. Stroud. The old and the young.
That's right.
I'm sure Joe will be attending the Only in New York 27 Rings with Derek Jeter, A-Rod, CC Sabathia, Jorge Posada, Andy Pettitte, and Spike Lee.
Yeah.
Talk about the Yankees.
I'll for sure be doing that. I just assume that I'll know that panel is going on because there'll be a big hoopla as CC Sabathia, A-Rod, Andy Pettitte, all those guys walk Derek Jeter in on his little princess throne, literally carrying him up to the stage as they did throughout his entire career.
Well, I set you up and I knew you would deliver a Jeter jab. There we go. Yeah, seems like there's a lot going on. So Topps, the baseball card or the card selling, correct?
Yeah.
Is that the oldest card?
I don't think so, but I bet you it's like the oldest running one. You know what I mean? I think back in the day, like there was, you would get like tobacco cards and whatever, but I think maybe I remember there being Bowman really
Bowman.
being one that were like, oh, the Babe Ruth Bowman.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't doubt that Topps is like the oldest one that's still doing it the whole time.
Well, here it is quickly. Peck and Schneider.
Yeah.
Peck and Snyder in the 1860s, late 1860s. Then there was Brooklyn Athletics. And you had Allen and Ginter. Are these Jewish law firms or are they baseball?
I remember that
cards?
Allen and Ginter recently did comedians. Allen and Ginter like resurfaced and did like comedian cards or something like that.
And then Topps came around in 1951.
There you go.
Which is crazy to think. It's like, oh, it's not that new, but considering these, but a lot of history. Baseball's got to figure it out at some point. What happened?
What with baseball, you're saying?
I just can't get over that, like, and we're hoping to get a couple of these guys on. I'm not going to ruin it from the Bananas, but it's like, again, they just came to Cincinnati and I can't get over like the fanfare, the whole stadium yellow. I didn't go, but obviously I watched some highlights. I looked at pictures and I'm just like, dude, you sold out within minutes, 2 games. The Reds can't, like, I just can't wrap my head around. The professional team can't do that. It's crazy to me. It'd be like the And One tour coming to Cincinnati and doing better than like a LeBron. Like, it's like, I just can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
Which kind of leads into like today's discussion that I said I wanted to have.
Well, I think there's part of the thing is there's this weird dichotomy in baseball where people don't be like, act like you've been there before. Stop pimping home runs. Why's your glove got to be pink? Blah, 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 blah. And then probably the same people going to see the Savannah Bananas take their shirts off and do the Slim Jim dance and like 5 guys on the mound Macarena. And I get that it's like, well, this is different than that, which it is, obviously. But I think if baseball, Major League Baseball, considered not, having guys dance on the mound or whatever, but let baseball be a little bit more fun. Also, and this is my Joe Prano for commissioner. Target the kids, man. Make it cheaper to bring your kids. Make it more kid accessible. Make like your only chance in baseball is getting kids at a young age and then turning them into baseball fans for life. And like, soccer, which everybody's saying, oh, soccer in America. One day it'll be this thing. At least they have that strategy. Like they do. Every kid's gonna play soccer at 4. Like every kid's gonna play soccer at 4. And if it takes, it takes. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I fucking played soccer at 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same.
But I also played T-ball at 5 or whatever. And then the next thing you know, like I went to a baseball game and I was like, I was just talking about, because I took my nephew in New York. I went to a baseball game in like 1986. And I was like, all right, I guess this has ruined the rest of my life. I guess I'll just be chasing this forever.
Well, crossover, and I know I've talked about it before. Funny, I'm talking about the Savannah Bananas because one of my first ever soccer teams was called the Electric Bananas.
There you go. I don't even know how a banana conducts electricity, but I have seen those potato motors, so maybe.
We were just yellow. I like the unique nickname. They also do incorporate not just being young, the fanfare of soccer, right? Like with the with the chants and the like. I just feel like there's probably more fanfare, but I sent you this and shout out who sent me this. Shout out to Dirtball Chance. Sent me this. This is what I want to talk about with baseball. The balls, the actual balls. So I'm gonna pull up this clip. So this is during the Rays Mets game, and somebody tweeted out that you can't convince me that the baseball is using dead balls.
Yeah.
This is how this whole conversation on the actual balls got started.
Fly ball into left field at the track at the wall. And
It just dies. Let me rewind. This is Soto. They're down 2 in the 8th.
Yeah, with a guy on.
So tie ball game if he goes yard.
fly ball into left field at the track at the wall, and he makes the grab. Josh Lowe.
So let me just tell you one thing about this. I was watching this game live. Now that was a line drive.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I've watched a lot of baseball in my when I was a kid, I'm watching 150 baseball games a year from start to finish. We used to play a game when we first got TiVo where obviously most broadcasts, especially like in the older days, you have that shot from behind the pitcher of the batter, and then there's a jump to a second camera where they find the ball and they show you what happened. So we used to play a game when I had TiVo back in the day, and I would be like, pause it on contact right before it switches to the next thing, and I'll tell you where it's going. And I mean, I was good for 9 out of 10. I mean, and honestly, I think I was good at playing outfield when I eventually switched playing out, because I didn't need to read the ball. I could read the bat angle and the contact sound and the whatever. It's just, when you talk about, people mastering things with their 10,000 hours, I got 100,000 hours of reading baseballs off of bats. When he hit that ball the other night, I was certain it was gone. And it's funny that this particular play became this tweet thread and is now becoming a topic on Dirty Sports, because that play on Friday was the first time in a long time that I kind of stood there, like a little bit of mouth open, little hand on my face, going like, am I losing my touch? That ball was gone.
Yeah.
I was like, everybody gets old, Father Time's undefeated. Did Joe Prano's baseball eagle eye fucking suddenly start, not coming through? I was like, the sound of it, the angle of it off the bat, I knew it was a line drive, but I was like, that's a line drive that's going off the facade. It's going to be, that ball got out of here in a hurry. And when it was caught, I was like, really? And then from there, no joke, completely separately, 2 days later on Sunday, I didn't see this tweet with McCutchen and whatever till yesterday. Then you brought it up today. Wild coincidence.
Yeah. So McCutchen quote tweets this, Andrew McCutchen. And he says, I was told by a rep for MLB that the balls are indeed different this year. They stated in quotes, higher seams, which produces more drag on baseball, causing baseballs to not travel as far as they should. When asked why, I was told every baseball is hand sewn, so no ball is the same. When I asked if there's something that could be done about correcting the current performance of this year's baseballs, I was told there was nothing that can be done about this season, but they are working hard on getting to the bottom of why the seams are higher. So yeah, you're not wrong.
He gave us a tweet and he put quotes around certain things and whatever. So we don't have a screenshot of the message that he was exchanging with baseball or whatever. But the way he lays it out doesn't even make sense. So if every ball's hand sewn and therefore different, then why is this a year-to-year? Like, how are you saying the seams are higher across the board, and that's going to be the way it is this entire year? But also, every ball is different because they're all hand sewn, so nothing we can do about. You're like, well, in theory, you could just tell every person who's hand sewing it to sew the seams tighter. Like, that's a confusing and almost, not only is it confusing, it truly like doesn't make sense. Like, you're saying two different things simultaneously. They're sort of canceling each other out. Nothing we can do about it this year. Every ball is hand sewn, so they're different.
So the baseballs are made in a factory in Costa Rica.
Love that.
So, first of all, how many baseballs? You're talking about hand sewn? How many Costa Ricans are doing this?
All of them.
I mean, how many baseballs do you think they go through on a calendar day? And then,
I think typically there's something like 80 balls a game or something like that. So then times that by 15 games, you're looking at 600 balls. Times that by
160.
Yeah.
Times that by 162. It's like,
times that by all the balls they use for batting practice, all the balls they use for whatever, which I'm sure a lot of those balls get put into the mix for batting practice and shit like that. But still,
I really don't understand the system. Like it's hand sewn, and they're saying that they're
right. Like, that's what I'm
year.
saying. There's nothing we can do about it this year. Like we can't send a messenger pigeon to Costa Rica until next year to tell the factory, hey, factory, sew them tighter.
But okay. I always like to do contacts in other sports. Can you imagine if every football or every basketball was different? Guys, that's what we're talking about here. Like, can you imagine? Oh no, the game ball they're using for game 5 is different than the one they used in game 4. What? This one's more of a smaller ball. It's lopsided a little. What? Well, like what are we talking? We're talking about the actual ball that the sport uses.
Now, to be fair, again, how many footballs are used in every, there's 1/15 of the balls used in football as whatever, and there's a lot less. It's a lot less of an intense process to build a football than it is. But still, I understand your point entirely. But, I understand there being the slightest difference throughout the thing. It's like, but that then you're getting into like kind of the conversation with football of like, hey, the football, you might like it this way and I like it this way and this, but everything's between these specs. And the thing that is weird with baseball, it seems like every year the specs change. Justin Verlander was talking about this a couple years ago. McCutcheon's talking about it now. Again, this would be something I'm like, yeah, that's whatever. That's baseball. If on Friday I didn't have the this is like when you it's like when you're in LA and you feel some weird, there's a weird shit happening, and then like 2 hours later you're on Twitter and they're like, oh, there was an earth. Oh, there was an earth. That's what that was. That was an earth. Oh, it was like a 3.4 that just happened to be right here. It wasn't noticeable enough for me to think it was an earthquake, but that's what it was. Cause I was like, that was really weird. Like a conscious thought. My cougar, did I lose my fucking touch? And then 2 days later, like, hey, remember that one very specific moment in that baseball game we watched 48 hours ago? It's the entire basis for this whole tweet thread and discussion about baseball.
But again, to me, unless I'm missing it, I feel like it's not getting too much traction.
Right.
Which to me is also a problem for the sport. Like, People aren't talking about this. It's bizarre. But again, like we've seen this, have we not? We've seen this. This isn't the first time we've seen this.
Well, then there's like
with the baseballs,
and then there's the conversation about baseball, like juiced baseballs. People want home runs,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
oh no, people want balls in action.
Remember, then there was the Coors Field baseballs.
The three true outcomes of homer, walk, or strikeout are no longer interesting to people, and it's like, guys, just stop. You're like, all this is theoretical. Everything, like, you can't change what you think people want every third year to the complete opposite thing you want. We gotta make the seams on the baseball higher. People like balls in play. Ooh, we gotta bring the home run back. And it's like, just let baseball be fucking baseball. None of this shit has anything to do with baseball dying. Not the again, we've been through this. Not the speed of play, not the number of people getting hit in the face down the left field line, not the amount of home runs or walks or strikeouts. It's just the fact that you are competing with all this other content and all these other sports and all these other things, and you don't know how to market yourself at all, and you don't know how to get kids at a young age to get interested. You don't know how to, like, God, again, we've been talking about it, like, even the Nets, which we've go back 5 years now. A kid that goes to the baseball stadium, walks to the front during batting practice, and gets handed a ball by Juan Soto is a baseball fan for a long time. Not for any other reason than just like, that was a crazy. I know the first baseball I ever got at a baseball game, Kevin McReynolds, number 22, left fielder, New York Mets, tossed one out of the dugout to us. This is burned into my brain forever. And you're like, let's put everybody behind nets and get you in and out as fast as possible and never let any players interact and never, like, it's ridiculous. I mean, I tried to get I took my nephew to his first game, and it was like, the whole day I spent prepping him, like, Mr. Met, this, that, blah, 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 blah. And, like, thankfully the Mets do an incredible job with their stadium shit. So he went and he saw all the things and he did all the things, but not every owner is Steve Cohen.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, there was obviously a major trade.
And then I'm sure, I don't know if you heard this, but like, and again, not to get political, but like this whole Dodgers incident, you're like, it's like every baseball owner and
the Clayton Kershaw thing.
No, the fucking national anthem thing. Do you hear about this?
Oh, I saw a brief. I didn't watch it. I saw a brief. She wanted to sing the national anthem in Spanish.
Yeah,
or she did,
and she did. At first, they told her no, and then she did. Now she's banned for life. And there's a bunch of people. Obviously, LA, not just LA, because the Rams, the Lakers, the Kings, whatever. The Los Angeles Dodgers is more Mexican than Mexico. Like, there's whiter people in Mexico than the Dodgers is the most Mexican shit of all time. They're kicking people out who are wearing shirts that say like ice, no ice, whatever. And it's just like, again, the Dodgers lead the league in attendance like every year.
Yeah.
Now they're the biggest stadium. They're in a huge market, but and we've talked about it before on this show too. The fucking white fans there are there late and leave early. The Mexican fans are fucking ride or dies. How are you not thoughtful about, like, you could just be one of those people who goes, I don't give a fuck about anything, or I hate this message. You could even be like, I hate this message. But Mexicans buy $25 micheladas by the fucking gallon when they come to my stadium. I'll make AI Vin Scully speak Spanish and announce games. Like, what are you doing? It's like baseball. goes, anybody have a gun? And then they literally shoot themselves in the foot every day.
Well, I think obviously like that's going to be such a hot button issue. It always has been, right? The national anthem, just in general. And it's like, I didn't see the video, so I don't know. I don't know if there was like, hey, do you want to do it in both?
No, it was. But here's the thing. I know that's it's a hot button issue on the internet or on when you grab the video of it. This is not a hot button issue at the ballpark for Dodgers fans or for the players. Like, think about all the fucking Latin players on the field, and then all the like, I'm sure no one there for the most part. Well, certainly not the majority. Maybe a very, very small minority. Like, why are you even making this an issue? Is the thing. Like, this doesn't need to be a thing. Just, yeah, of course. Mexico, God. Yeah. If you could mix Montejo into the words of the national anthem while you're here, we'll give you a fucking $50 bonus.
I'm trying to think a correlation, if there is one, of like where would they be? Where they would? Oh, we're gonna sing our national anthem in English. Does that make sense? Where like, if there is one, just to do a hypothetical, right? Like where they were in a different. Does that make sense? Like a different country, and they would do that country's national anthem in English. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to baseball in general, it's just like, it's the same thing. And we are for years now, just all this stuff. We are beating a dead horse or beating a dead bush, as I would say. It's like, I don't remember who I was literally just talking to somebody about this. Anyway, I can't remember. It was literally in the last week. Somebody who knew the margins, which for sure we've talked about, for Reds games. And they were telling me how insane it is. Somebody in that like food and beverage industry. And I was telling them, I was like, dude, I went to Dollar Hot Dog Night when I was in Houston. And I was like, it was packed. This was when the Astros were good, right? When we went to that game in 2019. And I said, the lines weren't too bad for the Dollar Hot Dogs, if you remember. Like, they were reasonable. And I was like, I just don't get, it's the same thing. I just don't get, oh, this is what it was. It was my buddy. My buddy was bringing up Atlanta. And he's like, dude, you see what the Falcons owner has done?
Right.
He's like, it's just so smart. He get people in there. And this is what my buddy was saying. This is actually perfect for the conversation. My buddy who lives in St. Louis was like, yo, man, I used to always go to Cardinals games. And he goes, I went recently with my family. And for him, he does very well. Money's not an issue.
Right.
But his point to
the
me,
principle.
And that's what he said to me. He goes, Andy, I'm telling you, we go to the game. I bring my family, my 2 kids, my wife, and we have good seats. And I'm like, you want this? Like, come on, guys.
Right.
Like, you're not going to, he goes, I don't want to come back with my family now. I just don't.
And listen, it's the same. I feel the same way. A lot of things. And what's crazy is you talk about the margins, but we've talked about it on the show before. Draft beers in the amount that they're buying them. I went and did a show. You'll love this. Our boy Brian McWilliams. I went and did his show. He does a show at a fucking crazy ass dive bar in Hawthorne now. Some guy had a seizure in the middle of my set. They fucking had to clear out the fucking bar, brought an ambulance in. The guy got taken out. And then Brian was like, go finish your set. And I was like, what the fuck, dude?
What, by the way, real quick, what was the former bar that doesn't exist anymore?
Sports Harbor.
Yeah. God.
Yeah.
RIP Sports
Harbor. So he
anyway.
does one. And I went in and I saw a guy drinking a bottled Miller Lite. And I was like, I had cash. So I was like, yeah, I'll do a Miller Lite. And the lady like gives me a Miller Lite. And then she gives me back $2. Well, I gave her 20. So she gave me 15 in fives, and then she gave me $2.75 on top of that. So that means my Miller Lite bottle was $2.25 at a bar in Los Angeles.
Seems very cheap.
On a Friday night, $2.25. And I was like, what the? I was like counting it. I was like, is this right? And then I was just like, all right. I went up and got another one. And then at one point, Brian was like, put all your drinks on my tab. I was like, what do I give a shit, dude? They're $2.25 Miller Lights. I'm fucking pay me more. I'll pay for my own beers. But then you go to a ballpark where they're ordering. This is a small bar, by the way, where they're ordering legitimately infinitely more beers. Infinitely more. Like you couldn't do the math on how much more beer Dodger Stadium orders per year than this bar that seats 40 people. You couldn't, it would be impossible. 20,000%, no, 200,000%, like infinitely more. And they're getting them in draft. $19? You're just going like, hey, how about fuck you? And here's the thing for me. I am in a sense their target because they're like, we can make it $200 and Joe Prano's buying a beer at a baseball game. And you know what? They're right. Here's the thing, though. I'm now like a 2 really tall beers at a baseball game guy because we got a pitch clock. They shut it down in the 7th inning. I'm not fucking rushed through. It's like I'm getting 2 24-ounces or whatever, and that's taking me through 2.5 innings, and then I'm in the 5th, and then I'm like, am I really going to get another one now? Yeah, I have 2 more innings to do it, but then what? Then I got 3 beers in me? Where does that get me in life? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas if they were like, hey, they're $8, I'd be like, great, I'll have 40.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like people... They see the prices, and it turns people off. Let's talk about this trade real quick.
Yeah.
So this was yesterday?
Which, you know what, kind of ties into this. If you want to, if you want me to tie it all together,
you go for it. So Rafael Devers,
great hitter, and like the highest paid Red Sox, signed an extension for $300+ million last season.
I'm seeing some early things that I've read because obviously I don't follow baseball closely enough. They're like, this is like a low key, like Luka type ripoff.
Well,
like not to that degree, but like a Luka Lakers Mavs
it's similar. It's similar, not quite. Obviously, what does one baseball player do for you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But in the same sense of like, this doesn't really make sense, but also the reason why they're like, so the situation is this: he's a third baseman, but then they signed Bregman, so then they want him to DH, but then they also want him to learn first base, but he's butthurt about them signing Bregman to play third, so he doesn't want to learn to play first base. So I'll DH and I'll play third when Bregman's hurt, but like I'm not fucking playing first base. And everybody's like, well, what the fuck are we talking about here? You're getting $300 million. Like, do what's best for the team, which obviously in a sense, I agree with that. Like I am the kind of like, listen, if I'm paying you $300 million and I need you to play first base, learn to fucking play first base. I do understand that aspect of it. At the same time, this is a Red Sox team that does not have a Steve Cohen like ownership where these guys are like, we're going to lose money if we need to, but we're building a winner and making the experience better for fans at cost to our own pockets if need be. The Red Sox are, I believe, what was that, 2017 that they won the World Series? You're pushing a decade here where this is again, this ties back to the original thing, being run in a very business-like manner, not a lot of whole thought about your fans, your fan base, your team success. It's like, we have Red Sox fans. Red Sox fans are going to come to the games no matter what. How do we get as much, they're essentially putting the $18 draft beer team on the field and just going, take it or leave it. This is what it is. I mean, they traded Mookie Betts, who has been, for this Dodgers run, the guy on the Dodgers. Obviously Freddie Freeman and now Ohtani have like added to that, but like the baseline of like, we're going to get every fucking star started with them going out and getting Mookie Betts in one of the most crazy lopsided trades ever. And then they do the same thing. Their next great hitter,
homegrown
guy, they move for pennies on the dollar to the Giants, who have elite prospects. Well, I mean, and when you say elite prospects, like, you never know what's going to become of these prospects. But Baseball America and all the shit ranks all these guys. They don't even go and get their best prospects. And so you're like, okay, you took pennies on the dollar. Why? Because you just wanted to get rid of him. Why? Because he doesn't want to play first base. He's got a fucking 10-year deal. Like, why can't he play first base 2.5 seasons from now? Why can't he play? Like, obviously, I am the type of guy who coached and managed baseball teams who would be like, man, I need to play first base. You're playing fucking first base. But I'm also the type of guy who's like, that doesn't mean I want you to send him to another fucking team and bring me back some shit prospects.
Yeah.
But it was just like a very businessy bit. Like, there's no care involved in any of these decisions. The Red Sox are now just, they're part of a portfolio for
was it just like too contentious of a relationship? Is that what the problem was?
Yeah, essentially,
right?
Yeah. But also, okay. Billy Martin and fucking Reggie Jackson had a contentious relationship. Barry Bonds had a contentious relationship with everybody he's ever met in his whole goddamn life.
Yeah.
Like, at what point do you go, well, what's the balance here? Well, we gotta, we can't ask Alex Bregman to play first base because he's only been here fucking 7 days. Like, and I'm not saying that that's the best strategic decision, but at the same time, you have you're the best hitter on your homegrown, the best hitter on your team and a homegrown talent. And you're just like, well, moving on.
I mean, it's definitely a tough situation. He doesn't want to play first. He never played first his whole life. I saw a quote that he said he would play first. Isn't that what I saw for the Giants? Or is he going to be a DH?
That's what I said to, I texted Laz this last night. I was like, so what happens now? He gets penciled in at third base every day until Chapman's back. And then what happens to him? Because, Wilmer Flores is their current DH, who is right-handed. But Wilmer Flores, I don't think anybody thinks is Rafael Devers as far as his ability, but he's playing incredibly well. Like, he was leading baseball in RBI like 3 weeks ago. Like, Wilmer Flores is pretty goddamn good, at least for the Giants, at least right now. You might be catching fucking lightning in a bottle. And yeah, he's a righty and Devers is a lefty. So you can, I guess, do some sort of like DH platooning and then put him at other positions when they want Wilmer in the, line up against, I don't know. But that was my question is he all of a sudden going to play for the Giants? That makes him look like more of an asshole, doesn't it? Where it's like, oh, I'm not playing first base for the Red Sox because I was their third baseman, but then they went out and got another third baseman. But I'll play it for somebody else. Like, which again, then that begs like, did you want to leave and did you whatever? But it just seems crazy to me. And this is, listen, we just went through this. Obviously, they eventually got a deal done, but now it's lurking again. The All-Star break is going to be here any minute. I'll say it. I don't think Steve Cohen listens to the show, but extend Pete Alonso at the goddamn All-Star break. We're going to do this again. He's leading baseball in runs batted in. He's going to break your all-time fucking franchise home run record in a week and a half. Why are you holding your fans hostage again? Like, I don't want to hear about Pete Alonso's contract negotiations in August or in October or goddamn it in November when the season's over. Like, get it fucking done. And I think that's where baseball has gone wrong from the beginning of these conversations today till the end, from the national anthem thing to the prices to the balls to whatever, is like, why don't you give a fuck about your fans? Give a fuck about your fans. And that's why I'm confident that Steve Cohen will do something to get that shit done, because he does care about his fans. But not every team is owned by somebody who's worth $25 billion and is a fan and wants to make it. And guess what? There's a lot of billionaires out there. Again, we go back to our guy that we both really like, and Mark Cuban, who's been begging to get into baseball. And baseball won't let him. And so the Pirates just suck. And the Pirates just will never spend any money. And you're like, okay, I guess. I don't understand the math of it. I don't understand why you'd want teams to suck, or why you wouldn't want owners to want to win or care. But here we are.
Yeah.
It almost feels like baseball as a whole is a business that's going, how can we get the most money out of our customers with the least amount of effort? Which is what's wrong with a lot of fucking businesses today.
Yeah, and it's also like I don't know. It's also like a lack of foresight for the future. You know what I'm saying? Like maximizing profit might work now, but again, it's like, where does that leave you 10, 15, 20 years from now? Like, I'll be really curious how the whole thing plays out with the broadcasting rights. We all know how important that is for these leagues.
I mean, there's going to be no Sunday Night Baseball.
That's what I'm saying. How that's going to play out. It's, I don't know. It's, I'm reading a book right now, and it actually makes me think of baseball as I talk about this. And people, you'll be like, well, what the hell does this have to do with it? It's literally called Gold Star CEO, like, lives by this book. He's like, you got to read this, Andy, because it's marketing. It's called Eating the Big Fish, How Challenger Brands Can Compete Against Brand Leaders. It came out like 25 years ago. But to me, that's baseball, right? And the whole point of the book is like, the brand leader would be, let's say, the NFL. The point of the book is like, you're not going to catch the NFL, or you're not going to catch McDonald's if you're in the fast food business. How can you compete against them and also basically rebrand yourself? And it's not about, like you're saying, just retaining you, Joe Pranos of the world. It's like the younger generation. And how do we pivot? And it's just, I don't know. I always just scratch my head again. I'm just like,
you're talking about a book that came out 25 years ago. It's not that long before that baseball was the brand leader.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, football might
they
be
were
now,
the big fish.
Yeah.
So for me as a child, same thing. I mean, you can see it in the back of me. For me as a kid, They were always first. Reds were always first, and it wasn't even close. That's the truth. Same exact reasons. Dad started taking me to Reds games early. Same exact reasons. In fact, I can remember, I mean, just a stupid little side story. I can remember my first ever sleepover. The kid up the street, I don't know how it was, like, I don't know. When did you start doing sleepovers? Like first grade or something? I know they're like not a thing anymore, but like one of like my best street buddies, I remember it was like a big deal. Like, oh, the pull out couch bed and we're doing a sleepover. And I just remember the Reds Expos game was on. And I remember it was a big deal that we were up past 10. I was like 7 or something. You know what I'm saying? But isn't that funny? Like you talk about it's etched in my memory that we got to watch the Reds play the Expos. And the game was going on past 10 p.m.
Dude, well, I mean, dude, you got 7-year-old Joe Prano trying to figure out how to work my dad's Lavazza espresso machine because the Mets are playing the Giants in San Francisco and the game's not even start till 10. It's like, what are you doing right now? I was like, I need a boost. And he's like, you're not drinking. You're 7 years old. You're not having an espresso tonight. And I was like, I am. They don't even start for 2 more hours. Yeah, I'm already tired.
And I've shared the story. My dad literally woke me. He woke me up out of the bed when the Reds were playing the Dodgers when Norm Charlton trucked Mike Scioscia. He just like couldn't get over. It's like, Andy's going to love this. I know it's late. Like he's got to see the game's on late. He's got to see. It's just like you're saying, how did we go from like you are the top dog late 80s, early 90s to I don't know, man. It almost should be taught in like a business, like in school, like a business course.
But it's and you're gonna love this segue after I do it. But it's these PR companies and these studies and the like. Oh, it's because it's too slow, and it's like you guys always. I swear to God, some of these people who are like the marketing girl or the whatever, the people that get pulled into something. I think it's because it's too slow. And it's like, bitch, you're never going to watch baseball. What you think is wrong with it doesn't matter. And I said this last night. I don't know if you watched. Did you watch the Pee Wee Herman documentary?
No, I've seen things. I haven't watched it.
You got to watch it. It's awesome.
What's it on?
I think it's on HBO.
Okay.
I think. On Max. On it. You're talking about fucking marketing morons.
Yeah.
But I've always said this about, I think PR people, I think it's a con for them to make money. Like the whole, like, we're going to do this and we're going to say this and we're going to say this. And then you're going to want to do this. And well, that'll get you out of the news cycle. No one will be talking about it. It never works. In the documentary, they're talking about how the thing that really like made Pee Wee pop from being like a cult underground, like live show to getting a movie and whatever is he would go on Letterman every 2 months. I was like, if I had been his PR agent when he got caught in the theater, I'd have been like, go on Letterman.
Yeah.
Tell the story.
Like Hugh Grant did on Leno.
Yeah. Instead, they're like, we're just going to hide you. You're not going to say anything. You're not going to whatever. You're going to plead no contest to get so that there's not a trial and you're whatever. And I go, no. That's why me as an 11-year-old at the time was like, oh, Pee Wee's jacking off on people in movie theaters because there's no fucking story out there except the story that is being told as like a joke.
Yeah.
And then the same thing. He gets, accused of fucking basically having child porn. And it's all he has is like old timey fucking, gay magazines. And I'm like, go on TV and be like, how many former frat boys have 30 years worth of Playboys in their garage? I have 30 years of fucking muscle mags of dudes posing in G-strings.
Yeah.
But they refused to, at that point, even say, this is in the early 2000s.
They wouldn't
They're
even know if he was
refusing it.
gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be gay, dude.
Also, we all know.
We all knew.
Everybody
He
knew.
was like, I would put like subtle gay shit. And by the way, if you watch it, not that subtle, in the Pee-wee's Playhouse and whatever. And you're like, bro, the idea that you didn't just say, yeah, I'm gay, I collect gay shit. Like, it's insane. But like, this is everything that's wrong with it. Like, this is what's wrong with baseball is you have like marketing. And it's too slow. It's too slow.
MLB is Pee Wee Herman. I'm
Yeah.
already thinking of titles.
It's slow. Have you thought about making it faster? Bitch, you're not, if this game took 14 minutes, you're not watching it. So what the fuck are you doing? I'm here trying to sell $18 beers, but now I got to sell $18 beers because I have literally 45 minutes to do it. Whereas I used to be able to sell $8 beers. And fucking dad went home happy. And the kid's like, can I go down there? Can we get there 6 hours early and go to batting practice? He's like, bro, I'm going to be drinking $8 beers in the sun all day. We can go at 5 a.m. if you want. I don't give a fuck. It's like every goddamn marketing and PR person just, I swear they fucking are like, I think you go to college for that kind of thing if you're dumb. Like,
well, I think a lot of it, it's definitely very heavily female. And I think that there's definitely just from now that I've been in this corporate, this here locally for what I did, like for 3 years, I agree. There's very little thinking outside the box.
you remember the girl who was like managing us at Citi Field when we went for the pitch?
Oh my God.
And she was like, if you take off your shoe, not only did she say, if you take off your shoe, you're going to be banned for life. She didn't even know I had a fucking black sports bra under my shirt and was not only going to take off my shoe, I was also going to take off my shirt. Do you know how that would have done? You know how many clicks it would have gotten? You know how meanwhile, they're like, did you see the Savannah Bananas did a whole game in black sports bras? How do we get this attention? Dodger Stadium is filled with Mexicans every day, and they're like, if you speak Spanish, you will be banned for life from the stadium. Motherfucker, there are people in this stadium who do not speak English and have season tickets to your team.
Yeah, well, and again, that's where there is a disconnect. I mean, let's again bring up the other sports. Look how, and not like you and I pay attention to it, but I know it's a huge deal. Look at how NFL social, especially Twitter, does the schedule releases. People are like, they're doing Randy Marsh memes because they're getting creative. And they're not scared to take chances. And to be honest, that book that I'm reading, again, Eating the Big Fish, it's interesting talking about stuff that now I remember because I think the book again was written in 2000, but it talks about how Richard Branson, and then they talk about just different brands that like were so out of place when he said, I'm going to do an airline company. People were like, this isn't your line of work, or whatever it was that somebody would do. And to be honest, one great takeaway that I'm like seeing is, and I never would have thought of this, is they say when it comes to this marketing and trying to get appeal and bring new people in, don't just look in your own industry, which I was like, I never thought of that. Cause I always find myself looking at the socials of like a McDonald's and a Taco Bell. And he's like, what are the innovators of like a car industry? And you're like, oh, and how would that apply to, in this instance, baseball, right? Like take a brand that has nothing to do with sports, because I keep using sports, but that's kind of the point of like, how do they market and how do they attract young people? And again, we've talked about it with other sports, not just NFL. It's like the NBA is so big on social. It's the biggest. And that's bringing in the younger audience. And we know that's why, again, the ratings and all that stuff really, to me, aren't and used too. It's like, it's not a big discussion point. Like the NFL is kind of an outlier, and it is like NFL gets the ratings, like fine, cool. Like I'm not saying that doesn't
Yeah,
mean
they play
anything.
16 games a year,
Yeah,
17 games a year.
There's 16 games a year. But like again, the NFL only has a few games, whereas the NBA is like, we're going to tap into social. And look, to their credit, I know we dunk, pun intended, a lot of times in the WNBA. It's like they're tapping into these new, especially obviously Caitlin Clark, and even like the Angel Reese hate. They're tapping in. There's these guys. There's these guys. Total side note. These guys have like a TikTok feed, and they bet every game that she's going to miss her first shot.
Angel Reese. Amazing.
It's turned into a thing. And it's just, like, it's just so funny. Like, but again, like, you can play off that. I just, again, long story short of all this discussion, it's like you hope baseball would take things away from other sports, or even like a Savannah Bananas or minor league baseball, whatever it is. And I definitely agree with you. It's not the pace of the game. It's not the nets.
What am I doing on a day where I go to a baseball game with the extra hour that you gave me back?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
Dude, I went to a Dodger game last week. That's my day, dude. I'm going to the Dodger game. I didn't like come home and then like go out and go to work. Like, I'm going to the Dodger game. And it's just insane to me that this goes kind of like on a lot of these leagues. Obviously, like you keep coming back to like the success of football. And, you know, I know we've got into it recently, and I don't think I've tweeted at anybody. And my God, if it wasn't, it was like begging me to like jump in.
Dude, you know what's funny? I was scrolling through. I was like, oh, this is a good back and forth.
But Mark Cuban is like, yeah, dude, we're a global fucking game. NFL's an American game. Like, there's 16 games on these shit. It's like,
and he was right, and Mark Cuban's right.
Of course, Mark Cuban's right. Shocker. Like fucking somebody who's actually
and look, and not like we can't say his name. This was Cuban and Clay Travis were going at it.
Yeah, because Clay Travis, you know, the NBA is going broke because of,
and by the way,
they let black people play or whatever.
I'm glad that finally, like we always say, I'm glad finally, and I'm glad he said it, that Mark Cuban, I haven't seen people bring up the social media numbers and the YouTube, you know, all that, and the global. It's like nobody's really said it.
But football at this point knows it's not a game for people to go like football. What the NFL is selling you on is stay home, watch all the games on YouTube TV, bet all the games on FanDuel, make sure you're there for your fantasy football team.
Yeah.
Like, there's 16 games. They're going to be sold out either way.
Yeah.
They don't give, they are not trying to get you to the fucking stadium. They're not trying to get you to the stadium.
No, it's just
they're trying to get you to stay home and spend money. And they're like, here's a beer commercial, here's a truck commercial, FanDuel, DraftKings, FanDuel, DraftKings, FanDuel, DraftKings. Yeah. And baseball and basketball and hockey, these things that have 80 to 175 games a year, it's built around, hey, we also make $40 every time somebody parks for 85 games a year. You got to get people to the ballpark. And that's why the Falcons owner's like, we can give away food, bro. I don't give a fucking shit. Yeah, I'm going to get a check for $11 billion for fucking my TV deal. What the fuck ever?
Yeah. 100%. And that's always like a hot button discussion in Cincinnati. It's like, what can we do to change the way they run the team? And the smart fans will say, it doesn't matter if you don't show up.
Right.
But the TV deals are worth so much money. It doesn't, and it's true. It does not matter if you don't show up.
Especially
That's just
now
gravy.
that they fucking got rid of all the blackout games have to be sold out, or else we're not going to put it on the local market shit. Because also they got rid of that because the teams didn't need it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Seems like, all right, fine. 80% of the stadium's full. Who gives a shit? Baseball and basketball and hockey are completely different. And again, also way more so than baseball, which is kind of the original game that went to Latin America and went to Japan and went to all these places. The NBA is a global fucking game. Comparing, I mean, the hilarity of an exchange between a guy, and they're comparing the NBA's global reach to, and they're arguing back and forth with Clay Travis's regional fucking syndicated terrestrial radio show in red markets. Bro, more people follow LeBron James on Instagram than have ever listened to your show on any given day in all the markets combined. What the fuck are you talking about? We're comparing apples to fucking flip-flops. We're not even comparing apples to oranges. Like, that is why a guy like Mark Cuban was, somebody who got into the league as it was about to go global. It's like, bro, the in Dallas cable ratings
don't mean shit
for a Wednesday night game against the fucking Pacers mean nothing to me.
Yeah. And again, if it didn't matter, this TV deals wouldn't keep going up.
Right.
That's bottom line. Right. In all these sports, and that's why, to kind of bring it back to baseball briefly, it's like you brought up Sunday night football or Sunday night baseball. It's like, we're talking about all these TV deals. We're like, basically got a problem. You're the only league where networks are dropping you. Like, yeah, we don't want to pay you that much. You're not worth it. That's a problem.
And then you look at, I'm going to, like, I'm just dipping my toe into the waters. I obviously know a bunch of people, including my brother, because he's doing it with my nephew and fucking Justin and whatever. But these people that are like, oh, the memorabilia world is doing this now. And like, kids are super into collecting baseball cards again because they have like the one of ones and the colorway and the rainbow this and the whatever. And meanwhile, you're like, they're literally watching YouTube shows and TikTok shows and whatever of guys opening baseball cards more than they're watching the games that the players are playing in, because baseball's not smart enough to go, hey, no Sunday night baseball, but maybe Sunday night baseball should just be on YouTube. Maybe YouTube or Spotify or TikTok or MLB.com's front page should have an exclusive where you still put up This Week in Baseball, where you recap a bunch of shit that happened in the league and do profiles on players and whatever. And maybe one of those interviews should be fully in Japanese for the people who love Shohei Ohtani. And maybe you should, like, it's just insane. It's insane how much some leagues get certain things, and baseball just is like, Mark Cuban's like, yeah, cool, dude. More people watch basketball in Africa than will ever know who Clay Travis is. And baseball is like, literally fuck Mexicans who come to Dodger Stadium. You're like, oh, okay.
Well, pretty lengthy discussion, so I think we're good there. We can move on. Game 5 tonight. We said SGA had to come out. He came out, saved save the series for them in Game 4.
SGA, your boy Caruso, and the Thunder defense.
Didn't know Caruso's my boy, but we'll go with it.
Oh, bro, you were bonering out for Caruso on the show when he.
I was boner. I liked him on the Lakers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the game.
I think it's going 7 now. Not the
fucking Lincoln guy meme. Now it's going 7.
I'm all over the map.
So now it's going 7. You think what? Thunder get tonight, Indiana gets a home game?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
Now, are you of the Game 7 anything is possible? And like once you say it's going 7, are you just like, well, now it's a coin flip?
I would still lean Thunder.
Okay. I think it's Thunder now, but I would not be shocked if it was home game, Thunder in 7. But I think the Thunder late in that game with their defense and their offense to some degree really figure something out. And I think from an off, it's crazy how few 3-pointers the Thunder made and hit. I think they had 3. I think they had 3 made 3-pointers in the whole game, which is insane.
That is insane
to think that you win a game where that happens. But I think the Thunder's approach, not just on defense of just like, all right, we're just going to make it hard as fuck for you guys. Like we're just going to be, the amount of like mid-court Caruso bumping steals and just the way they attacked them defensively late in the game was the entire shift. But then you get SGA. It felt like SGA was not literally knocked off his spots early in the series, but like they were making him uncomfortable. And then he was, going against his instincts, which is what I talked about in the last couple episodes, where he's passing on shots he would normally take because they're doing stuff to make him a little bit more uncomfortable. In Game 4, they're literally knocking him off his spots, physically knocking him off his spots, and he's just like, fuck it. I got him. Like the baseline jumper where he's like shoved and still, collects himself and still makes that shot. That's what they need. Like they need SGA to have a 30-point game. It's like where their offense comes from. Now, the other thing is the way that they were attacking offensively with other guys who get the ball. One of the reasons, and not just because I hate the Pacers for beating the Knicks, but one of the reasons I hate the Pacers is the Pacers want to bully you, but they're so quick to literally cry. And I mean literally cry if they get bullied back. And I think that's finally what turned in Game 4, which is they'll bump you, they'll shove you, they'll grab you, they'll hard foul you. And when you do it to them, all of a sudden their hands are in there like, what do you mean he can bump into me? And it's like, that's how you break them, because they don't like it when you go back to them. And that's what started happening. Caruso and Williams and whatever are getting the ball and just driving through them. And then it's bully ball back. And all of a sudden Nesmith is fouling out of the game with his hands up. And the Pacers coaches and players and fans are like, SGA is bumping him. Like, what the fuck? And it's like, that's how you can't go, we're going to put our hands up and not play bully ball with them. You have to go, fine, we're going to bully you back, because they don't like it. They don't like it when you get, when you not even like come over the top, but just if you match the physicality of the Pacers then act like, why are they allowed to do this? It's like, guys, you did it the whole game. You love picking up guys full court and putting your hands on them. And then when Caruso's picking you up at half court and causing steals at the mid-court line, you're like, what, you're just allowed to bump me? And it's like, that's where I feel like there's been a little bit of shift in who's in charge here. Who's in charge of this series? Not who's like has the upper hand or who has home court, but who's like running the shit. And that's to me where I think the Thunder really like found something at the end of the game. And then that defense turned into offense. They were a little less hesitant. They were just like, all right, we're going to take some shots when we're uncomfortable. Now it's all of a sudden an uncomfortable game for everybody. And so, yeah, I could see it going 7 the same way you, where it's like we trade home games. But I also feel like unless the Pacers go, okay, now we've drawn them into a dogfight, we've got to dogfight them, I think it could be over in 6.
Do the Thunder cover tonight? They're 9.5.
No.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
No, I think these games are going to be good games at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Are we the thought of looking at an Oklahoma City champion, or it's just crazy that neither, it's good. Neither of these teams have won.
Yeah.
But Thunder, man. If the Thunder win, they got to do something with the male strippers Thunder from Down Under.
Yeah, the Australian strippers.
Is that still a thing in Vegas?
I think so.
I think they were at the Rio.
I know there's whatchamacallit at the Rio. I know there's like a Chippendales at the Rio.
Australia's Thunder from Down Under. Where are they performing? The search history is going to be amazing. Where are we at? Oh, they're at the Excalibur now.
Yeah, that tracks.
I've
never even been in the Excalibur.
I couldn't tell you. I've walked through. I think a lot of those you can walk, like they all connect.
Right.
Those are all MGM casinos.
Yeah, and maybe I have. I mean, there's certainly been times where I've been walking through casinos in Vegas and have no idea what planet I'm on. But
they're good at that, man. They're good at that. You'll never see a clock ever. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, listen, I think this, it's the NBA. When you talk about the NBA, like, I know the NBA has the market research on why this game is being played tonight instead of last night. Really would have preferred it last night. That would have been awesome. A little Sunday, but it's Father's Day. Everything was quiet yesterday. I went to the gym yesterday. There was not a single person in there, basically. I was like, everybody's got kids or is afraid of ice raids. But the Monday night game 5, this is it. I mean, I think it
would have been nice last night.
It would have been nice last night. You talked about it. I think it's in game 5s where the series is 2-2. I think it's like 73% or whatever of the teams that win game 5 end up going on to win. So I think it's Thunder tonight. I think it's Thunder in the series. I think it's Thunder in 6, but it could be Thunder in 7. Now, I don't want to take anything away from the Pacers. Could the Pacers win this series? Yes, they can. They absolutely can. But the way the fourth quarter went of game 4, it just feels like if this is going to be the series, if the series is going to be what the fourth quarter, if both teams are like at their, we're now comfortable with each other. We now know what everybody's going to do. If the fourth quarter of the series is just going to play out for 2 or 3 more games, I think it's the Thunder, because I think the Pacers are, the guy talking shit the smallest guy in a group of people talking shit in a street fight. It's like they want to be tough until you get tough with them. And crazy enough, because the Thunder defense is why they're a 68 win team, but it just feels like the way Indiana approached it, and it's worked for them the whole postseason so far, made Oklahoma City uncomfortable and made them change their lineups and made them change their offense and made them whatever. And now it's just like Oklahoma City being like, oh, all right, dogfight, let's do dogfight. And then Indiana's like, whoa, what are we doing? This guy can't be bumping me and stuff like that. And all of a sudden the Obi Toppins and the Halliburtons and the whatever disappear, and the Naismiths are fouling out. And that's where I think, be careful who you pick a fight with.
What do you make of this trade?
Oh, the Desmond Bane trade.
I feel like they gave up a shit ton, huh? The Magic?
Yes, I think they did. And it's weird because in the NBA now, everything's being compared to one another. Like it's like, fucking the Lakers got Luka for 1 first rounder. And it's like, yeah, but the Knicks got Mikal Bridges for 5 first rounders. So I think, I don't know if I've heard anybody say this, but I haven't really heard anybody say anything because I, was on social media a little bit this weekend, but not a ton. And I think it happened yesterday morning, right? I think this, in a way, is a good trade for both teams. Orlando feels like the East can be won. And again, there's going to be Pacers fans out there who are like, fucking hater. Still not scared of the Pacers. It's like, this to me, and again, I know we played a clip from me last spring saying I'm not worried about the Pacers going forward. This is the Orlando Magic front office saying the exact same thing. They are like, Boston is down because Tatum ain't coming back anytime soon. The Cleveland Cavaliers are either going to be this team built for the regular season, or they're going to have to do something crazy. The Knicks, they don't have a fucking head coach right now, and we're not sure whether they do or they don't want Karl Anthony Towns. The Pacers, are we not going to try to win the East because we think the Pacers are unbeatable? We should lay back for a couple of years while this Pacers dynasty sorts itself out. No, they're like, we have, a top 20-ish player in the league in Paolo, who is, I believe, 21 years old. He's not 23 years old. He's 21. He's 22. And they have a nice little core.
Yeah,
and they're
22.
like 22.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, we are going to go for it right now. We're going to get a 3-and-D guy who doesn't have to be paid right this second. I think Desmond Bane has like another year on his deal, or like at some point he'll have to be re-upped, but like not today. And they're like, what does it cost us? Sure, it cost us 4 first rounders, but 4 years from now, when those picks are halfway gone, because you can only trade them every other year, will this player be in the East? Will this team have figured it out? Will Boston have re-upped? Will New York have signed this? Like, you have a window here. And I know Indiana's fans are like, what do you mean a window? We're going to win the East for the next decade. Orlando has a window here where they're like, hey, there's no clear-cut team that's coming out of the East. Why not us? And so they make a move. And yeah, it's crazy that 4 first rounders and a pick swap, but at the same time, that's where we're at with the NBA these
That's
days.
insane to me, though. The 4 first rounders.
First of all, again, they're 4 first rounders, so they're going every other year. Also, I believe they traded a pick that they got from somebody else. And if you think you're going to be good, and this is, I don't necessarily agree with this, but everybody's like, late first round picks are just second round picks. I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm always like guys are going to be gone when you get to the second round. So they're not just second round picks.
Yeah, I've never agreed with that.
But the general consensus is if you're not picking in the lottery and if you're not picking in the top 8 of the lottery, you're not getting a franchise changing player. And then it becomes about, drafting for need and scouting and whatever. Listen, they see a path in the East. And if they see a path in the East, I approve of them going for it. On the flip side, not really sure what Memphis is doing.
They getting rid of Ja? Is that what are they going to do a whole rebuild?
I think no matter what, it's still a good move for Memphis because what were you doing with the core that you have in Desmond? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You want to be the 7th team in the West again next year? You want to be the 6th team in the West? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ja gets moved. I don't know if Jackson gets moved. I don't know if both get moved or just one gets moved. And the idea is every one of these guys is pretty young. So you get a bunch of draft capital and you rebuild it around them. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where Ja goes. I know Jaren Jackson is going to have way more suitors because he's not paid the same and he fits out because you got to build your team around Ja Morant. And at this point with injuries, with issues, with whatever, with finances, who's going we're trying to get ourselves in the Ja Morant game right now. Somebody probably, but then you got salary cap and what are you moving for him?
Well, I think we know the natural reaction for Ja. The best spot. Place, I'm thinking it's got to be
Cowboys.
Florida. Oh yeah, a place where you
Cincinnati
can
Bengals, someplace where him and Pac-Man can team up and just shoot up a fucking whole neighborhood.
Well, I think, but you also need to go strip clubs, which would be
Right.
Miami. So pretty open gun laws in Florida and also good strip clubs.
Miami is a fit.
He'd be regular at Tootsie's down there. He'd have his own VIP booth. Miami would be perfect fit for him as far as lifestyle.
Yeah.
And
Pat Riley. I'm sure Pat Riley will love him. It'd be great.
Pac-Man got arrested again, by the way.
No, I just saw that. He's unbelievable.
I think he's just an alcoholic, to be honest.
How about just therapy, dude?
I think he's just an alcoholic, though. Don't forget, he's the legal guardian of Chris Henry's kids.
So crazy.
Who, by the way, one is already a top. His kids, one of them's already he's gonna go anywhere. One of them's, anything can happen, but probably NFL bound. Can you imagine Pac-Man Jones as your legal representative? Can you imagine Pac-Man Jones negotiating with an NFL team?
No.
Showing up. He's got a big fat blunt behind his ear. He's drunk as shit.
You said, I think he's just an alcoholic. There are alcoholics that aren't violent alcoholics. It's really
I agree, but he's always, he's getting arrested, where he was just arrested. just all these places are like, dude, you're getting drunk at these places in Cincinnati,
Right.
like
Why is he even still in Cincinnati? He's from where? West Virginia? I know he went to school in West Virginia.
went to
But
school there. I don't know where he's from.
dude loves him some Cincinnati, which, like, you know, maybe go someplace where you can do things besides drink. Like Pac-Man, move to Santa Barbara, start hiking. Become a deep sea fisherman.
No, man, go out on the Ohio River, go kayaking. Come on, Pac.
Well, you know what's funny is about like, and not to like shit on the Midwest and like,
Oh, guys, Joe's saying not to shit on the Midwest.
No, but like, here's the thing: the stuff that, like, when I used to date the girl from Missouri, it would be like, hey, I'd be in town, and her brother would be like, hey, we're gonna go like float the river, and I'm like, that sounds cool. He's like, yeah, we're gonna float the river. It's pretty great. We get a thing. It's just, can you drink 30 beers while you're on water?
100%.
That's what it is.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, these are all just like,
Yeah.
just be like, yo, we're gonna go drink 30 beers today.
That's
I'm like, oh yeah, like you didn't have to sell me on like a thing.
That's why it's called also cabrewing, not canoeing.
Right. Exactly.
It's like,
so it's like, you know, it's like, yeah, get on the river. He's like, no, I can just drink it home. And they're like, all right, fine.
I mean, I've said it a million times. Me sobering up in Los Angeles versus like had I been living here, bro. Cincinnati, you go to the bar, you're not drinking. People are like, you gay? Well, then you're like, what? What are you talking about? What's wrong with you? Like, you tell people in a healthy city like Los Angeles, I'm not drinking. They're just like, oh, cool.
Dude, even in New York, which has like so many things to do.
Yeah.
It's so pub culture. It's like, you know, it's pub culture. It's happy hour culture. It's brunch culture. Yeah, like I guess you could navigate and just be like, I'm just going to the museum and I'm going to go to the Knicks game but not have a beer, and I'm going to go to, like, you could theoretically, but like I wouldn't.
Dude, we had when I coached my nephew's basketball team at the end of the year party, which was just like the Buffalo Wild Wings by the school. One of the dads tried to buy me a beer and I said, I don't drink. He's like, nah, no, for real. Let me get you a beer. I was like, no, I don't drink, man. And like, he know what to, he's like, no, for real. Like,
all right, I'll just buy two and hold one in case you change your mind.
It got my buddy who was the head coach. He noticeably became uncomfortable because then I just said, okay, dude, you're going to make me tell the story. I'm going to tell the story. I was like, here's a short version. Traumatic brain injury, could have died. Alcohol related. I don't drink. And he still was like, you're not drinking? I was like, dude, you don't get it, man.
But that's the thing. Is like, here you go. I mean, and I do it all the time. I've talked to like, I think I talked on our show about it. I talked on Dirty Slides about it. I talked whatever, but it's like, you get up. It's like, I can't have a couple beers while watching like the Mets day game yesterday and then still go surf in the afternoon, or you can't like hit the gym, or you can't go for a run, or you can't whatever. Like, yeah, you could do like whatever, but if you're like doing the healthy culture, just like go straight against the drinking culture. Now, I think I do a pretty good job of balancing that, where my Miller Lights are rewards for my activities, but yeah, like, hey man, what are we gonna do today? Get on a raft and float down the fucking Missouri and try to take down as many bush apples as we can. And you're like, all right.
I do think that will, and I think it already will start to change with all these states legalizing cannabis, though. I do think there is.
So not in Texas anytime soon.
No, but like there's a larger contingent of like people who are like, and I know a fair amount who are like, dude, friends, family who are like, I feel so much better, man. Maybe have an edible, maybe have a drink, like a THC drink. It's just like, oh, dude, I feel a million times better. You know how bad, how hangovers are as you get older. It's just worse.
That's why I only drink responsibly.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's what you're paid to do. Drink responsibly.
That's right.
Anything else? We can wrap it up. We're at about an hour and a half, and
Sure.
I don't think there was anything else. Anything else we can talk next episode. The hotline. I feel like we're struggling. I've seen some calls, no voicemails. So guys, how it works again, it should go directly to voicemail. It does. We've tested it. So I'll test it again, but you leave your message there. Again, because I'm seeing missed calls and I'm like, well, where are the voicemails?
Yeah.
So you guys can do it. I have confidence in you. 859-832-0478. No, it's not the easiest number to remember, but
859-832. I mean, the other one wasn't that much easier. We just said it 5,000 times. 859-832-0478.
it's in the description. So you just click on it, it'll call.
Yeah. We'll have to get on Clatter to wrap up this hockey series.
I know, man.
That's game what? Is there a game tonight? Is there a game 6 tonight?
Tuesday.
Okay.
Panthers up 3-2.
Yeah. We'll have to talk that. That's a great thing. We'll be back at the end of this week it's just a couple days. We'll be back.
I mean, Ryan, like I've messaged him. It's just his work schedule. He's doing important things. He's moving trains. So,
well, follow me at Joe Prano on all social media. You can, like I said, come see me in New York this week, either at Fanatics Fest or at the Stand. New Jay Moore episode out tomorrow with Jay Leno. Jay on Jay crime. Yeah. Luckily, I didn't sit in on this one because I'm a devout David Letterman guy, so not on this one. But Jay on Jay tomorrow. If you like Jay Leno, check it out. Also, last week's episode with Jerry O'Connell was super fun. He told a Diddy party story, which I referenced here, but I think it's now over like 3 million views on Instagram. People love talking to them some Diddy.
I'll say something about this. I was following it. It's just too much, man.
Yeah.
I was following closely and I was like, there's just so much. I just fell off. I was like, this is like a job. I mean, he just like, I still can't wrap my head around all this stuff. Like, how do you have the time? How do you have the time to do all this? He's just like, you're a busy dude.
Didn't sleep.
No, he didn't. It's unbelievable. Right? Like, is the trial still going on?
I don't know. Who's got time for all of it?
That's what I'm saying.
Diddy does. But yeah, check out the Pee Wee doc. You'll like it.
Yeah, I will. I will check out the Pee Wee doc. When did he pass?
Last year. Last like July or something like that. 2023. So two years ago, I guess.
I do remember having a conversation that was just so funny. This whole Paul Rubens thing reminded me of somebody being like in college, he's not gay, and I was like, bro, come on, man.
There's a really fun, and this is to me why I was like, why didn't you should have just owned it then? I mean, he was like, bro, there was not so subtle gay references in Pee-wee's Playhouse. At one point during the Christmas special, they're like, a fruitcake. He's gotten so many fruitcakes that he builds a whole wing of the Playhouse out of fruitcakes. And when they open the door to the new wing, there's construction guys in there building it. They're just shirtless, buff dudes. They're just shirtless construction. It's gay. It's just like, oh, another fruitcake. Just like
here's the thing I'll say though.
Like a fucking whatchamacallit.
Like Village People?
Yeah. It's like a shirtless Village People construction guy.
To be fair to him, it wasn't. I mean, you couldn't just like openly come out back then, man. I mean, it's changed a lot. Like
No, I know.
I'm saying, like, I'll give. I know what you're, and I agree. Like, why couldn't you have just done? But like, it wasn't like.
But when the thing happens, and I was talking
Oh,
about
you're
last night,
I know what you're saying.
like when George Michael
in
gets busted
in the bathroom.
yeah, in the bathroom, like your PR statement should just be like, hey, so obviously I'm gay. Obviously, everybody already knows that. The music industry insists that you not be gay and pretend to be straight this whole time. So instead of just like being able to go out with like a dude for fucking coffee and then suck him off, I am now weirdly having to have gay sex in public restrooms. This isn't my fault. This is your fault.
Was he with another guy? I thought he was jacking off.
No, I think he got like
another guy.
Which is so that's the other thing about this is they're all like, I mean, you want to talk about like targeting gay people, but just like Pee-wee, I think it was like a Vice Squad like sting where like a police officer like went into a restroom in West Hollywood and like is doing this foot tapping thing. And then he's like, oh yeah, you're trying to like come into this thing and fuck. And he's like, ha, gotcha. Like
I thought George Michael's thing
like,
was,
the Pee-wee thing. They didn't like, no one like called the cops and was like, Pee-wee's jacking off in this movie theater. It was like a sting.
I didn't know that. I thought whatever. I'll look it up later. I could have sworn it was something else. Anyway. Public lewdness. Okay, I have to go down that rabbit hole. But anyway, geez, I mean, I don't got time for this. Okay, you guys know how to follow us. Okay, that's the show. Wrapping it up. We'll see you guys on Thursday or Friday. I gotta talk to Prano.
Yeah,
great week, and as always, stay dirty.